What happens when the worlds of hip-hop and boxing collide in the most shocking way imaginable? Claressa Shields, the self-proclaimed GWOAT of women's boxing, just dropped a bombshell, claiming that rap veteran Papoose is the father of her child. And if that wasn't wild enough, Remy Ma, Papoose's wife and hip-hop queen in her own right, didn't take long to respond. She went OFF on Instagram Live, snapping in front of thousands of viewers, exposing emotions and truths the public was never supposed to see. Could this be the end of hip-hop's most loyal marriage? Or is Claressa simply stirring up chaos to shake the culture? The hip-hop world and the sports world don't usually collide this way, but when they do, it's nothing short of explosive. Fans woke up in absolute shock after Claressa Shields, the undefeated boxing champion who calls herself the greatest woman of all time, allegedly confirmed the unthinkable. Papoose, the loyal husband of Remy Ma, is her baby's father. Yes, you heard that right. The same Papoose who has built his entire reputation on loyalty, family values, and standing by Remy through her prison bid, is suddenly at the center of one of the biggest scandals in years. For years, Papoose and Remy were considered hip-hop's golden couple. They weathered the storm of Remy's incarceration, they built a blended family, and their love was seen as unshakable in an industry full of cheating scandals, divorces, and messy entanglements. They were the blueprint the couple fans pointed to as proof that love could survive fame, drama, and chaos. And yet, all it takes is one shocking confession to bring that entire image crashing down. The bombshell came during a podcast interview Claressa did just days ago. While discussing her personal life, she dropped a line so casual, yet so heavy, that fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. When asked about the father of her child, Claressa smiled slyly and said, "Y'all know who it is? Let's just say he's a legend in New York, and he already got a queen at home. But he's mine too." The host laughed nervously, pushing her for more. And that's when she delivered the line that shook the internet. "Papoose knows what it is. That's my baby daddy." The moment she said it, clips began circulating online. Twitter went into overdrive. Fans couldn't wrap their heads around the idea that Papoose, the same man who once proudly rapped about waiting for Remy during her 6-year prison bid, could have stepped out on her with one of the biggest names in boxing. Memes exploded across social media, with some fans making jokes about love and boxing hip-hop, while others warned not to play with Remy emotions because she's not the type to laugh this off. Almost immediately, blogs picked up the story. Screenshots of Claressa's comments were everywhere, with some fans celebrating her boldness and others slamming her for disrespecting a marriage that's long been held up as a symbol of loyalty. But whether you loved it or hated it, one thing was undeniable. Claressa Shields had started a firestorm that wasn't going away anytime soon. Meanwhile, Papoose stayed silent. The usually vocal rapper, known for speaking his mind on social media, didn't post a word. He didn't deny it. He didn't defend himself. He didn't even post one of his usual motivational quotes. And in the world of celebrity drama, silence speaks volumes. Fans immediately began speculating. Was Papoose trying to figure out how to respond? Was he waiting for Remy to address it first? Or was his silence a guilty man's way of dodging the truth? Remy Ma, however, didn't stay quiet. Within hours of Claressa's comments hitting the internet, she hopped on Instagram Live to address the rumors. What fans witnessed was raw, emotional, and unfiltered. Remy wasn't her usual calm, composed self. She was furious, her voice trembling as she went off on the situation. "Y'all really think I'm gonna sit here and let some chick play with my marriage? I don't know what she's talking about, but let me make this clear. Ain't nobody taking my husband from me. And if you think you got something over here, come show me." The comments section went crazy. Thousands of fans tuned in live, spamming the chat with reactions, like Remy not playing, and she about to pull up on Claressa for real. Some begged Remy to calm down, reminding her she's already been through the legal system once. Others cheered her on, saying she had every right to snap. But what made Remy's live even more interesting was how she addressed Papoose. At one point, she looked directly into the camera and said, "Pap, I don't care what kind of friendship. Y'all had this right here. This embarrassing me. I mean, you know I don't get embarrassed. Handle this, 'cause if I gotta handle it, it's gone. Be ugly." That statement alone sent shockwaves through the culture. For years, Remy and Papoose presented themselves as a united front, never letting drama touch their household. Now, for the first time, cracks were showing, and they were showing in front of the world. Claressa, never one to back down, doubled down on her comments. Just hours after Remy's explosive live, she tweeted, "I don't fight women, I fight in awe. The ring. But facts are facts. Pap, know what's up. Y'all can keep pretending, but truth don't stay hidden forever." The tweet gained thousands of retweets, with her fans praising her confidence while Remy's supporters dragged her for being messy and disrespectful. What made the situation even more complicated was Claressa's reputation. She's not just any boxer, she's a history-making champion, a woman who has dominated her sport and carries herself with confidence. She's used to being in the spotlight, she's used to controversy, and she's used to people questioning her. So when she made this claim, it wasn't brushed off as just clout chasing. People started to wonder, could she actually be telling the truth? Insiders close to the couple added fuel to the fire, claiming that Papoose and Claressa had indeed been spotted together at events in recent months, always brushing it off as business. One anonymous source told a blog, "Pap been showing up at her fights, supporting her heavy. Everybody thought he was just showing love, but now it looks different." Those little breadcrumbs only made fans more suspicious. And then came the photos. Internet detectives dug up old images of Papoose and Claressa together at press conferences, gyms, and after parties. Most looked innocent at the time, but now through the lens of scandal, fans began to see them differently. Every smile, every hug, every handshake became evidence. The debate quickly split into two camps. On one side were those who believed Claressa, pointing to her boldness and confidence as proof she had nothing to hide. On the other side were loyal Remy and Papoose fans, calling Claressa a liar who was trying to drag a good man's name for attention. But regardless of what side you were on, everyone agreed on one thing. This was the kind of scandal that could destroy a marriage. Because let's be clear, this isn't just gossip. This isn't just some blog making up a headline. This is Claressa Shields, one of the most recognized athletes in the world, standing on her name and saying that Papoose is her baby daddy. That's not a rumor. That's a statement. And when statements like that are made, they can't just be ignored. For Remy, the humiliation is real. For Papoose, the silence is deafening. And for Claressa, the spotlight has never been brighter. The question now is simple: who's telling the truth? And what happens to hip-hop's most loyal couple if the allegations are real? The internet was already on fire after Claressa Shields' shocking confession. But what happened next pushed this scandal into dangerous new territory. Remy Ma's fiery Instagram Live wasn't just a rant. It was a declaration of war. And while her fans applauded her for standing up for herself, insiders say her fury wasn't only directed at Claressa. Behind closed doors, she turned that same energy toward Papoose. Sources close to the couple revealed that Remy confronted Papoose immediately after ending her live. Those walls, usually so private, apparently shook with arguments. One insider claimed Remy was heated. She kept asking him why Claressa would even feel bold enough to say something like that. She was demanding answers. Pap tried to calm her down, but Remy wasn't trying to hear it. Papoose, known for his calm demeanor, reportedly tried to defuse the situation, swearing that Claressa's comments were lies meant to stir up drama. But Remy wasn't convinced. She pressed him harder, reminding him that his silence online was making things worse. To Remy, silence meant guilt. She wanted her husband to step up, defend their marriage publicly, and put Claressa in her place. But Papoose hesitated. Maybe it was his pride. Maybe it was his strategy. Maybe it was something darker. Whatever the reason, his refusal to make a bold public denial only fed the flames. Fans across social media began dragging him, saying things like, if Pap was innocent, he'd clear this up by now, and the silence is screaming. Meanwhile, Claressa doubled down. She began doing interviews, standing firm in her statements. On one podcast, she even challenged Remy directly. If she want to be mad, that's on her. I didn't make her husband step out. That's his choice. But I'm not hiding my truth anymore. Her words cut deep, not just because of their boldness, but because they suggested that Papoose had indeed been living a double life. The boxing champion even pulled receipts. In a move that stunned fans, she shared old photos of herself with Papoose at private gatherings, pictures that didn't look overtly romantic but hinted at familiarity. One picture showed him with his arm around her at a party, smiling in a way some fans said looked too comfortable. Another showed them laughing together in what appeared to be a hotel lobby. Were these just innocent moments or proof of something more? The internet debated fiercely. Remy's anger only grew. A few days later, she returned to Instagram Live This Time with a calmer tone, but her words were even sharper. She said, "Listen, I don't play about my family, don't play about my marriage. I've been through too much in my life to have people try to embarrass me. Claressa, you want attention? Cool. But don't play with my husband's name. Don't play with my kids." That's where I draw the line. Fans noticed one thing, though. She still hadn't outright denied the allegations. Instead, she focused on Claressa's disrespect. That left many wondering, was Remy avoiding a denial because she wasn't entirely sure what Pap had been doing behind her back? The hip-hop industry wasted no time weighing in. Fellow rappers, bloggers, and personalities jumped into the drama. Some sided with Remy, praising her as a strong woman who wouldn't let anyone play with her marriage. Others sided with Claressa, arguing that she had no reason to lie, especially given her accomplishments and status outside of the messy hip-hop world. One rapper even tweeted, "I know Pap a good dude, but this ain't looking good. Remy don't deserve this." Another commented, "Claressa too real to be making up stories. If she said it, I believe it." The split among artists mirrored the split among fans, turning the scandal into a cultural civil war. Adding fuel to the fire, hip-hop blogs uncovered an old interview where Papoose admitted that temptation was always around, even for a man as committed as him. He had said, "Of course, being in this business, women throw themselves at you. But I pride myself on loyalty." Now, that clip resurfaced, and fans began asking if his loyalty had finally cracked under pressure, as if things weren't messy enough. Busta Rhymes was dragged into the conversation after fans resurfaced footage of him introducing Claressa and Papoose at a charity event months prior. The clip showed them exchanging a warm embrace, and though it seemed innocent at the time, conspiracy theories began swirling that Busta had unknowingly set the stage for their alleged closeness. And then came Remy's breaking point. Insiders claim that after days of fighting with Papoose behind closed doors, she packed a bag and left the family home temporarily. She didn't file for divorce, she didn't make a public statement, but her absence was noticed. One blogger claimed Remy went to cool off. She needed space. She wasn't about to let herself explode and do something she'd regret. During that period, Claressa kept taunting. She tweeted, "Strong women know when to accept the truth. Weak women fight it. Your man chose me." That's it. Fans erupted, tagging Remy in the post and warning her not to let Claressa push her over the edge. Papoose finally broke his silence, but not in the way fans expected. Posted a cryptic message on Instagram, "The truth always comes out, but real love always survives." That single post sent fans into a frenzy. Was he admitting something? Was he trying to comfort Remy? Or was he subtly acknowledging Claressa? The ambiguity only made things worse. Remy, true to form, didn't let that slide. Hours later, she posted her own message. Survival ain't the same as loyalty. Those 7 words hit like a thunderclap. Fans interpreted it as a direct shot at Pap, suggesting that while their marriage might survive the scandal, the loyalty she once bragged about was broken. The media frenzy grew unbearable. Every blog, every podcast, every gossip page was dissecting. Every word, every post, every look, even mainstream outlets picked up the story, framing it as a tragic downfall of hip-hop's most celebrated couple. Headlines like Remy Ma's marriage on the rocks amid Claressa Shields' bombshell plastered the internet. Ensuring that this story wasn't going away, in the middle of all this, Claressa had a major boxing match scheduled. Instead of being asked about her training or strategy, every press conference question turned back to Papoose and Remy. One reporter even asked her directly if she was trying to ruin a marriage. Her response? "I don't ruin anything. I just live my truth. If the truth ruins you, that's on you." That soundbite went viral instantly. By now, fans could see the toll this was taking on Remy. For years, she had portrayed herself as unshakable, warrior in both music and life. But this scandal exposed a vulnerable side. On her live, her eyes told a story her words couldn't fully hide. Betrayal cuts the deepest when it comes from someone you trust the most. And that's what makes this scandal so devastating. If Claressa's claims are true, then everything Remy and Papoose built the years of loyalty. The public image of strength, the narrative of ride or die love, was nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion. But if Claressa is lying, then the damage has still been done. Because doubt has already crept into the one place it should never exist: Remy's heart. By the end of part 2, one truth was undeniable. This scandal wasn't just gossip. It was tearing apart a marriage, damaging reputations, and threatening to rewrite the legacies of everyone involved. And the world was watching, waiting for the next chapter in a drama that seemed to have no end. By the time the Claressa Shields scandal reached its 3rd week, the story had completely taken over the culture. This wasn't just a messy headline anymore. It was the kind of scandal that threatened to permanently rewrite the legacy of everyone involved. And at the heart of it all stood Remy, Ma, Papoose, and Claressa, locked in a triangle of betrayal, denial, and raw emotion. For Remy, the embarrassment had reached its peak. She had already lashed out on live, already confronted her husband behind closed doors, already thrown subliminal shots on social media. But insiders say nothing compared to the moment she finally snapped for real, according to sources close to the situation. Remy confronted Papoose in front of family and friends during what was supposed to be a peaceful gathering. Voices were raised, accusations flew, and Remy reportedly demanded that Pap admit the truth. Witnesses claim she shouted, "Stop playing with me. If it ain't true, then say it with your chest and make her look stupid. But if you did this, then be man enough to tell me to my face." The room went silent. Papoose, who had built his brand on being the definition of loyalty, allegedly froze. Some say he muttered that Claressa was exaggerating. Others claim he tried to pivot, saying the real issue was Claressa trying to ruin their marriage. But what he didn't do, what everyone was waiting for him to do, was give Remy the clear walve. Well, we spared them the clear, confident denial she deserved. And that's when things got even worse. Claressa, watching the drama unfold from the sidelines, decided to raise the stakes in a shocking Instagram post. She shared a blurry screenshot of what she claimed was a private text exchange between herself and Papoose. The texts weren't crystal clear, but they suggested a familiarity that went far beyond friendship. One message read, "I'll come through after Remy leaves. Just keep it low." Another appeared to show Pap saying, "Don't post nothing. You know how she is." Whether the texts were real or fake almost didn't matter because the damage was done. The internet exploded. Fans flooded Pap's page with comments like, "We need answers." And this ain't the Pap we thought. We knew. Meanwhile, Remy's supporters came out in full force, urging her to leave him if the allegations turned out to be true. The hip-hop community braced for impact. Fat Joe, who has always been close to both Remy and Pap, reportedly reached out privately, urging them to keep the drama off social media. But even his voice couldn't stop the tidal wave. Blogs, podcasts, and YouTube channels picked apart every detail. Some speculated that Claressa was using doctored texts for clout. Others argued that no one would risk their reputation like this if there wasn't some truth behind the claim. And then came Remy's ultimate breaking point. She went live again, but this time it wasn't angry ranting. This time it was raw pain through tears. She told her fans, "I don't care about the internet. I don't care about gossip, but I care about my marriage. And right now, I don't even know if I have one. I've been nothing but loyal. And this is disrespect on a whole other level." Her voice cracked as she added, "Y'all can say what you want, but I refuse to be played in front of the world. Pap, if you love me, prove it, because right now, you're letting me drown out here." It was the most vulnerable Remy Ma had ever been in public. The woman who built her career on toughness, who had survived prison, industry, politics, and countless beefs, was now crying in front of thousands of fans. It broke the internet all over again, with supporters rallying behind her, declaring that she deserved better. Papoose, pushed to the wall, finally addressed the situation directly in a video statement. Sitting in front of the camera, looking exhausted, he said, "I don't know why Claressa is doing this. I never had no baby with her. That's not true. I've always been about my family, about my wife, about my kids. But I'm not gonna let lies destroy what I built. It should have been enough." But instead of ending the speculation, his words only added to it. Because fans noticed something. He denied having a baby with Claressa, but he never denied having a relationship with her. That one missing piece in his statement became the spark for another round of conspiracy theories. Claressa, of course, wasn't done. She fired back immediately, posting a video where she said, "Of course he's gonna deny it. What y'all expect? But the truth is the truth, okay? And one day, that truth come out, whether he likes it or not." By now, the lines had been drawn. Team Remy versus Team Claressa. Supporters clashed online, defending their chosen queen with memes, hashtags, and nonstop arguments. Team Remy argued that Claressa was lying for attention, trying to tear down a black love story that had inspired so many. Team Claressa argued that Remy was clinging to a man who wasn't as loyal as he pretended to be, and that Claressa was simply exposing what was really happening. The scandal even reached the boxing ring. During one of Claressa's press appearances, a reporter shouted, "What do you say to fans who think you're ruining a marriage?" She smirked and replied, "I'm not ruining anything. If it was solid, nothing I say could ruin it. Think about that." That line sent shockwaves once again. To some, it was proof that she was telling the truth. To others, it was the kind of messy, calculated shade that showed she was enjoying the chaos. Meanwhile, Remy withdrew from the spotlight, canceling appearances and limiting her social media presence. Insiders claim she was focusing on her family and trying to shield her kids from the noise. But the damage was already done. The once picture-perfect image of Remy and Papoose was shattered. Even if they survived this scandal, their reputation as hip-hop's most loyal couple was forever tainted. The fallout was massive. Brands that had worked with the couple suddenly went quiet. Rumors circulated that TV producers were reconsidering projects involving them, fearing the drama would overshadow the content. For Claressa, the attention boosted her visibility, but not necessarily in the way she wanted. Instead of headlines about her skills in the ring, the world was gossiping about her alleged affair. And so, the question remained, was this the truth, or the biggest lie the culture had ever seen? Did Claressa Shields really have a child with Papoose? Or was this a calculated attempt to drag down Remy Ma's marriage? No matter the answer, one fact was clear. Nothing would ever be the same again. Papoose's silence, Remy's vulnerability, and Claressa's boldness combined to create a scandal that will live on in hip-hop history. Because when loyalty is questioned, when love is betrayed, and when truth collides with perception, the fallout is always devastating. In the end, Remy Ma stood before the world, not as the unbreakable queen we'd always known, but as a woman facing the ultimate test of trust. Claressa stood firm, unapologetic, daring anyone to call her a liar. And Papoose? He stood in the middle, a man once celebrated for loyalty, now branded by suspicion. This wasn't just gossip. This was the collapse of an empire, and whether the truth ever comes to light, the scars will remain forever. This entire situation between Claressa Shields, Papoose, and Remy Ma has left fans stunned, confused, and divided. On one side, we have Claressa boldly claiming she shares a child with Papoose and daring anyone to challenge her truth. On the other, we have Remy Ma, once seen as hip-hop's unshakable queen, now showing her most vulnerable side as she questions the very foundation of her marriage. And caught in the middle is Papoose, a man once celebrated as the definition of loyalty, now facing accusations that could forever change how the world sees him. But here's where we turn it over to you. What do you believe? Is Claressa Shields exposing a secret that Remy never wanted to face? Or is she using her platform to manufacture a scandal that never really happened? Do you think Papoose's vague statements are a sign of guilt, or simply a man trying to protect his family from public chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear where you stand. And if you've been hooked by this drama, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next shocking twist in hip-hop's most unbelievable stories.